approve the sum of 168.809 billion, representing the 4% cost of collection available to FIRS to fund its operation during the financial year 2020. Section 15A of the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act 2007 provide that the percentage as determined by the National Assembly of non-oil and gas revenue collected by the service may be appropriated by the National Assembly for the capital and recorded expenditure of the service. The sum of 168 billion naira is appropriated by the committee and hereby submitted to the Senate for consideration. 2.0 is the membership. The budget hearing session, which was conducted with the presence of the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, we briefed the committee about the budget and other sundry matters as contained in the document and beyond. 3.0, which is the page 3 of the document, contain the 2019 budget performance, which clearly states the total amount that was appropriated in 2019, which is 146,540,559,820, with the actual receipts put at 116,287,306,878 naira. The summary of the approved budget expenditure for personnel, overhead, and capital is clearly stated in page 5 of the report, while page 6 contains the breakdown of the summary figure, which contain the personnel cost, which is clearly stated, while page 7 also contains the breakdown of all expenditure incurred on the overhead for 2019, and that goes to the capital expenditure, which is also contained, the breakdown of which is contained in the document. From there, we go to page 6, which gives the highlight of the 2020 budget under the policy assumption underlying the 2020 FIRS budget, which contain all the tax specifics, the general principle upon which the budget is predicated upon, all the taxes that are collected by the Federal Inland Revenue Services for 2019 and also repeated in 2020. The assumption underlying the personnel cost estimate of the Federal Inland Revenue Services with the nominal payroll currently stand at 10,750 staff of the board. We also have the recurrent overhead estimate assumptions upon which the 2020 budget of the FIRS is predicated upon. From there, we also have the capital assumption for their 2020 budget expenditure, including all other sundry expenses of the board. Also contained in page 18 of the report, we have the breakdown of the revenue estimate for the year 2020, how they arrived at the sum of 168 billion naira, which was appropriated by the National Assembly in the amended medium-term expenditure and fiscal strategy paper. Also contained is the summary of the 2020 FIRS budget as contained in page 19 of the report. I will from here move to the observation of the committee while considering their report. Mr. President, that is 5.0 and it's on page 20 of the report. It was noticed that the 2020 FIRS budget was prepared on a zero-based budgeting approach. 2, the net available fund to FIRS for the fiscal year 2020 estimate is the sum of 168,809, cost of collection representing 15.2% over and above 146.546 approved during the preceding year by the National Assembly. The committee also noted an upward growth rate in terms of staff strength, which moved from about 5,000 in 2007 to 9,000 in 2019, and now 10,750, not 10,700, 10,750 in 2020. The committee also noted the absence of technology as a challenge to the service core tax processes such as data collection, data assessment, and collection collection of which are critical to the service are often challenged in court due to lack of relevant provision in the tax law. The committee observed that the FIRS operate below the line account used for tax refund and support for the construction of the head office, the breakdown of which is also attached in the report. The committee observed that historically, the budget spilled over to following year. Consequently, FIRS has been indifferent to the timing for the approach for their budget process. The committee frowned at the unnecessary delay in submitting the budget for 2020. However, the current executive chairman explained that he took over the leadership of FIRS in November-December 2019, and the budget for 2020 was not ready as at then. This, coupled with the process of taking over as well as the outbreak of the COVID-19, were responsible for the delay. The committee observed that the service requested a special intervention of 100 billion, the breakdown which is also attached. Now, recommendation. The committee recommends 1 to the Senate that a total expenditure of 168,496,220 be approved for the service to fund the process personnel, overhead, and capital expenditure cost of the service during the 2020 fiscal year. 2, the committee recommends the digitalization of the process in the administration of the tax in FIRS so as to catch up with the rapid increase in economic activities most often carried out online without physical presence. The committee also recommended that FIRS Establishment Act and other tax law be amended to make it possible for the service to modernize its operation with relevant technology. 4, the committee recommends that all amount accruing to the below the line account, which is not part of this budget, must be approved by the Committee of Finance of the National Assembly before expenditure are made from that account. Consequently, all below the line account accruing to the service in this year must be approved by the National Assembly. The committee recommends that the budget for the financial year must terminate on 31st December 2020, and this must be maintained to ensure the adherence to the January to December financial year. 6, the committee recommends that henceforth the budget of FIRS for any financial year must be approved by the Senate by the end of October of the preceding year. This is to ensure strict compliance with the January to December financial year. 7, the committee recommends the need for the service to have an intervention fund and hereby recommend the Senate to approve the one-off special purpose fund of the sum of 100 billion, and this fund will expressly assist the service in its immediate but pressing the need, such as completion of the FIRS head office building complex within 12 months, 6 training school, 30 prototype tax office, purpose-built facility for efficient tax of upstream petroleum industry, and the ICT infrastructure to identify and track digital transactions. Breakdown of this special intervention fund is also listed below. The committee wishes to thank the entire Senate and entire members of the committee for the job well done. Thank you, Mr. President. Attached is the budget for